And so, another YouTube video cut off early, but I'll continue. Like I said, you and I are serfs. When I left you, I was talking about the fact that you need a car. You need a car to get around. Yet, and you own a car, you pay for it, you're made to pay interest on it. And as the value declines, you're still paying interest, even when it's underwater. Of course, that's the way business works. However, in our state here in California, you're going to pay a very high sales tax, and you're going to pay another car tax on top of your registration fees based on the declining value of your car. And let me tell you, their declining value is not how you would value the car. They value it a little higher than you would ever value it in its declining value. Like my 2006 Ford Explorer, to register it this year was almost $400. I don't know why. Very expensive. 2008 Toyota Solara, almost $500 to register. I don't know why. I have a 1997 Jaguar. Nice car. It's all paid for. But $290 something to register. The way they value it, I would never value it. In fact, I could never get the value that they tell me it's worth on a car lot right now. Just wouldn't fetch it. Couldn't pay it. No one would pay it. But they value it higher than any car lot would ever sell it. So anyways, like I said, we are serfs. They own us. You do not own anything. When you own things, that means no one can have control over it. That's when you really own it. That's what private property is about. There used to be something called allodial property, the property of kings and noblemen. And we were supposed to assume that when we took over this country from the king. But no, somehow, somewhere, things changed, and we were given real estate, not property. Real estate is royal title to the estate, but not really ownership, just a certificate of title. So anyways, you and I are serfs. Our money can be taken from us at any time. God forbid the IRS decides to, look your way too long, you'll lose it all. They can sell it without even going to a court. Put a lien on it. You won't be able to sell it at all. You will not control your property anymore. So God forbid you actually try to protest. Oh, then they'll really come down on you. And you'll lose everything. They'll throw you in jail. Just because you think we should live differently. So, the old system we will not be able to change. The system as it is now. We need to live by a new paradigm, a new model. And what should that model be? If you want to live freely, that means you must join with other people who also want to live freely. Seek them out. Become their next door neighbors. Try to get them to convince other people beside them to think as they do when it comes to living freely. Resist against the machine. When I talk about, car registrations, I love driving cars. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love to be able to go anywhere. That's what we were, that's our God-given right. When the framers created this country, they never thought there would be cars, but they knew people would travel. And they never, ever expected for someone, just a private citizen, to not be allowed to use the roadways whenever they wanted to. It was never considered. They believed in rules of the road. Drive on the right-hand side, stop at red lights, use green lights to go, all those kind of things, turn signals. I'm sure they believed in that. But they certainly didn't believe on you having to pay for your right. A right is something you don't have to pay for. You own it. It's yours. You have a right to travel in this country anywhere you want. And God forbid you try to ride a horse across country on the roads. You'd be killed. So you have a right to drive. It's for your own safety that you drive. Now, do I think that we shouldn't have people at least tested and licensed to be able to drive? Yes. To be qualified? Yes, I understand that. That makes sense, because we want to make sure there's a basic level of knowledge of the roadways, the ability to read signs that warn you, to protect you. That's important, and to protect everybody else. But do I think that they should charge a tax to register the property you use to drive? No. You know, that's your personal private property. Personal property. That's what a car is. Like any other piece of personal property. I said this piece of property can go on the roadways, or other pieces of property stay in your house. So again, you do not own anything, and you have liabilities against it. Everything you own becomes a liability because it takes more and more of your income just to own it, to keep it. Things that you own are things that you can keep without having to pay again. So again, we are all just serfs and slaves to a system. The only way to break it is to squeeze it. You got to take all the money out of it. This money that we have should collapse. If it collapses, the system collapses. And that would be a good thing. Actually, you want the dollar to fall. That would be a good thing for everyone. Because it's not even our dollar, it's someone else's dollar, not ours. So anyways, that's my end of my speech. I'll probably make another one as to the same thing. We are all just serfs and slaves.